Stamps. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! Welcome to my craft corner. Here's another box with the envelope punch board, and I made this really quickly just as a prize drawing box, and my customers loved it so much they said please make us one just like it at the next workshop. So that's what we're going to do. You will need a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock, and then the coordinating designer series paper, and then just a few scraps of Whisper White. This one is Cherry Cobbler. You will need a full sheet of 12 by 12 paper, actually 11 by 11, but save the 1-inch strips that you cut off. You'll be using those later. This box is based on a 3 by 3.5 inch card. So if you go to the 3 and the 3.5 inch card, you're going to need a piece of paper that's 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and your first score line is at 2 5/8. We need a height of about 3.5 inches, so I went down to the 3 5/8 inch, which means I need to add 5 1/4 inches to that cardstock, which gives us our 11 by 11. First score line, and again I'm left-handed, I apologize, I need to turn it. My first score line will be as directed at 2 5/8. So I'm going to find the 2 5/8, punch and score, and don't go off the edge. You don't want to tear your paper. The next score line is a little bit complicated. 2 5/8 plus 5 1/4 is 7 7/8. That goes beyond the markings on our box. So I'm going to do a little adding here. Move it to 5, mark it at the 1 inch, move the 1 inch mark, move that mark to 3 7/8. Punch and score. Now, one score line on each side is going to only go about 2/3 of the way. So go ahead and do your scoring as you go. Start your score and just finish up that crease so that when you go to do your second side, that crease will be there for you. Punch and score. Again, don't go off the edge. Move it to the second crease. Punch and score. Stop and do your creasing. Rotate it, punch and score, and you're going to do all 4 sides like this. Once again, you don't have to do that complicated measuring except for that one time. The only thing you need to do after that is look for your score line, match your crease. The next step is to cut the tabs, and this is a rectangle, so I like to hold the rectangle landscape mode. It's not really critical if you don't spot that. Cut right on the crease, and then cut your little narrow wedge, and on the other side cut right on the crease, and then cut your little narrow wedge. Rotate it around so you're on the opposite side, and repeat. Cut the crease, and the wedge, I have already put the designer series paper on. This is Regal's stack, and I am using the font, so be sure your font reads from the center. This is 3.5 by 3. You're going to need 2 of those. 2 at 3.5 by 3.5. I've also trimmed the corners of my tabs, and I've used the tear and tape. I love tear and tape. In fact, I call it TNT because it's dynamite. I put the TNT right next to the crease on both sides and also on the edges, just to hold that against the box. And then I'm going to assemble the box. To assemble the box, you just fold the flaps in, match your edges, and do that on both sides. Now, if you are going to be giving this box as a gift, you might want to go ahead and fill it and then actually adhere it. With that long piece of 1 by 12, you're going to wrap that, kind of center it on the box and fold it over. And fold it over here. You don't want it too tight. And then you're going to use the other piece. You're going to use about 3 1/4 inch piece, and you're going to adhere these together. I'm just going to put the tear and tape, the TNT, on the ends. And no one will ever spot that seam. The next step is cutting out the bow. And so I've cut an 8.5 by 11 sheet in half. And I've also got a 2 1/4 by 9.5 inches. I'm going to lay this longer strip, making sure I get that long piece. And then just set these on top. Put my messy cutting plate on that side and my clean cutting plate on the other, and then run this through the big shot. I didn't mention that this is the Biggs gift bow die, and I've cut out my bow. I have 3 of these double bows. You're only going to need 1 of the single bows. You will need 3 or 4 of these whale's tails. And you do not need the little band. You will want to use your bone folder and gently curl, kind of get this started, soften up the fibers, and get your bow rounded. Do this on all the double pieces and the single one, and also the whale's tails. The next step is to assemble the bow pieces. So you're going to need any strong adhesive. I'm using the Fast Fuse, but if you've got the tear and tape out, that works too. Or if you don't mind holding it for a few seconds, the liquid glue works well for this. But you do want a strong adhesive. Just folding these ends to the center, applying adhesive to the second layer. There are about 1 million different kinds of bows you can make with this bow builder. Just love it. This single bow is, you're going to curl around in a full circle. Then you're going to apply adhesive to the center. Of your 3 double loops. And you're going to cross these, not in a direct line, but kind of in a, divide that up into thirds. And then put your single loop on top. And there's your bow. I'm going to move on to my tag for a little bit. I'm going to place my, let's see, this is 2 by 3, and I'm going to punch with the Curvy Corner Trio Punch. With this punch, you're going to make sure and put it, there are 2 little ledges for the 2 corner sides. You can use either side of this, but you're going to put it in and run it up into the corner all the way. Push in the center. You're going to push all 3 of these at the same time. Then flip, put it in again, punch, and I am doing all 4 of these corners. Flip. And then I'm going to punch the tag, the slot end, again push in the center. And I have a 1 3/4 square of Designer Series paper, and I'm going to punch all 4 corners of that too. So put it in, flip, put it in, flip. While I'm punching, I'm going to get out my Bird Builder punch, and this is a 2.5 by 2.5 square, and I want to just make sure I get it all the way in and punch. And then I want a garden green, so this is 1 1/4 inch, and it's really just big enough to get that stem. Now I just need to assemble my tag, so I'm going to put adhesive on the back of the Designer Series paper piece, and I'm lining up the holes, the middle holes in the corners, and I'm putting my branch on kind of diagonally, a dimensional on the back of the bird and on the back of the bird wing. So I don't know if it makes a difference. This one's more rounded. I'm putting that end on the bottom, and I'm putting this up by the shoulder, right about where the neck would be, and tipping that wing up a little bit. I used a black Sharpie marker to color in some of the tiniest pearls for the eye, and I think it looks very cute. I have about 8 inches of our 1/4 inch white cotton ribbon. Pressing that through the hole, through the slot, pulling the ends through the loop. And I am going to go ahead and put some snail on that ribbon. And then I'm using Cherry Cobbler ink, and I'm using the To You From Me from And Many More. And now I'm going to put my bow on my belly band. Remember that the side with the seams goes on the bottom, so this is the top. And I'm going to put an X with one of my strong adhesives. I'm using Fast Fuse for my whale's tails. And then I'm going to put my tag hanging from between those. And at this point I can put my band back on the box. And I'll put my bow on with a couple of more dimensionals. And I am done. I think that this turned out really cute. I hope you like it, and I hope you come on over to bevadams.com. I'll have the supply list, all the directions for you. I would be honored to be your demonstrator if you don't already have a demonstrator. Thank you for stopping. Bye.